Well, today's recipe actually comes from my own recipe journal, and this is about 2010, so about 15 years ago. I started filling up the pages of this journal, and I've got a mixed sweet and sour pork and chicken dish that I used to make quite a lot of, and I thought I'd give it a resurgence today. So here's what looks like sweet and sour pork number 1, and I think number 2 is on the next page. So this one here, pork and chicken together. I don't know if there's a third one. Beef rendang, very, very nice. Chicken adobo. You can see where everything. Lamb curry. Okay, we'll go back to the sweet and sour chicken and pork, and we'll get going with marinating our meat. So I've got the meat here. I'm going to just liberally cover it with soya and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and just sprinkle that over and start stirring it through as well as you can. Now this process of marinating the meat in baking soda first is called velveting. If you ever wonder why when you go to Chinese restaurants or you buy Chinese takeaways, why the meat's so tender, and it's normally because they use this process of marinating in usually soy sauce and baking soda before use, about somewhere around about 20 minutes before cooking. So we'll leave that, and while that's just marinating, I'm going to make the batter. Right, let's make up our batter. First of all, half a cup of flour. Half a cup of flour in there, and then we want 1/4 of a cup of corn flour. Try not to put our hands in front of the camera. Something I'm known for. And we'll just combine those two flours, and we'll add an egg. Right, 1 egg, and it goes. And right, once that's all combined, I'll then add half a cup of water. Now it's time to add half a cup of water. Now I should add, at this point, make sure, so I've used chicken thighs, you can probably see the difference in colour there. They can take a lot longer cooking, but chicken breast meat can't. It'll just dry out, and it will dry out before the pork is actually cooked. So when you're using this combo meat thing and you're cooking both meats at once, make sure it's chicken thigh meat so that both the meats are nice and tender and juicy. Now this seems a little bit watery, this batter, so I'm going to add 1/8 of a cup of flour to this. In fact, I'm going to add another 1/8, making an extra 1/4 cup of flour. So I will adjust the recipe to 3/4 of a cup of flour for your batter. That's better, much better batter. Leave this for about 15 minutes. Once you've got it combined, you'll see little bubbles appearing on the top. Then we can start putting our meat in and frying. Firstly, prepare a tray here with some parchment paper in it, because once we've fried our meat, we'll put it in there and then we'll leave it in the oven to keep warm while I'm preparing the vegetables. Right, I've got about 1/4 cup just over of oil, which is heating up. You can test it by dropping a bit of batter in, and if it starts fizzing away straight away, then you can put your meat in. Do it in 2 batches so that you don't lower the temperature of the pan too much. Right, here we go. So I put half the meat into the batter. Yeah, it's not too aggressive, it's up to temperature. It's not gonna cause you any alarm, shall we say. Of course, once this gets to temperature with all the meat in, it will start to rise a bit, so your second batch will start off a lot quicker, is what I'm saying. There you are, there's our first batch in there. Alright, I'm going to start moving these over to the tray, which you can't see. So I'm not doing anything sneaky behind your back. Right, I'll do that and I'll come back and put the next batch in. Right, I'll turn them over. They're just about ready to be taken out. And then we'll get our vegetables all ready for stir frying. And there we are, there's the meat, all done and fried. I'm going to put it in the oven at 100 degrees while I get the sauce and the vegetables done, and then we'll combine the two. Now to the kindly gentleman who last time I made sweet and sour pork, which I think was either last year or the year before, probably the year before, and who counted the number of pieces of meat that went into the frying pan and what appeared to come out, and claimed that there were at least 5 short. Go ahead, knock yourself out. I've given you a long look at these, have a count, and anyone else who wants to take the mickey, go right ahead, I love it. Okay, we'll see you soon. So right, here's our vegetables, I've all chopped up. I've matchsticked the carrots and them and the onions, which I cut into 6ths. Will go in first. These will go in first for 5 minutes, then in with the capsicums, then I will add the sauce, the pineapple and the meat. Heat through for about 5 minutes and then we'll all have something to eat. Right, it's time for the sauce. 1 cup of water, a little pinch of salt, two-thirds of a cup of raw sugar. Right, I've got a measure that is 1/3 of a cup, so I actually don't think it needs that much sugar, so I'm going to just cut it down, just for me. I mean, go ahead, put the full amount in if you want to, but I think I've cut it down before and it has been alright. Right, now 1/3 of a cup of vinegar, 1/4 of a cup of tomato sauce, there you go, that's 1/4 of a cup. Soy sauce, 1 tablespoon. There you go, that's 1 tablespoon, isn't it? And I've got to take about, because I'm taking 3 slices of pineapple out of here, I'm leaving enough juice in here to cover those. So that's the pineapple juice taken care of. Now this sauce can go straight onto the stove, get it up to almost a simmer, and then just shut it down until it gets, get it up until it gets to a simmer. Then put your corn flour and water in it to thicken it. Then you can actually put it to one side and leave it. Right, we're going to fry our veggies now. At the same time, I'm going to put the stove on for the sauce. There you go, there's evidence of the sauce being put on. I'm actually turning a knob down here to heat it up. I could be doing anything really, couldn't I? I could be holding a seance, having a cup of tea. Really, I could be shouting all this from across the room and doing absolutely no cooking whatsoever. No, I've actually got the sauce going. Now we're going to put the veggies on. Right, let's get the onions in and the carrots. You just want to keep these moving really, so just leave them for a minute, give them another toss, leave them for a minute, another toss, etc. and still until they begin to get translucent, then put in the capsicum. Alright, now in with the capsicum. And we'll just move that around a bit. Now, let's get this right down to low. And about there. Lid on. And just have another look at it after 5 minutes, make sure it isn't too hot on the bottom of the stove. Right, so here's our corn flour and water. This is going in the sauce, which is very, very hot. I'll put that back on the heat until it becomes really thick, and then we'll add it and the meat and the pineapple to the rest of this. Right, in we go with the pineapple. Just mix that through. Now we're going to put our meat in with our vegetables. There we go. Next is our sauce. Right, just empty that all over there. Beautiful, thick, sweet and sour sauce. Then we'll just coat everything with this. Oh. And I think I need to have a bowl of this for tasting. Right. Back in a minute. Alright. Let's have a little taste. Boy, this always gets me, this dish. I love it so much. It's nice getting a bit of chicken, a bit of pork. You don't know which is coming. This is beautiful. That pineapple coated in those sweet and sour sauce. Wow. You've got to make this, guys. It is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for watching. I know this is a long one, and it's very involved to cook too, but boy is it worth it. Okay, I will catch you on the next recipe.